Hello guys and welcome to a walkthrough video from the Minecraft modification Woot. And in this video I will explain you completely the modification Woot. And Woot is made to reduce your server lags because you will simulate mob farms in a different dimension. And so you are able to reduce your server lags and you can easily get an ender drag farm or a wither farm and automate the different types of farms. And first of all, we will start with some important ingredients. So you need to make sure that you have to build up before some farms. So for example, you need a lot of enchantments. These enchantments you could get out of a marine fisher, for example, because these enchantments you will need later in an injection press from Woot. And you need a lot of dye. That means you need a lot of flowers, for example, in different types of colors. For example, if we take a look at Woot, we can see that we have some different dyes, dye plates and dye casings and so on. So you need to make sure that you can easily create all the different types of dye. Okay, this dye you need to put into a dye liquefier and at least also in an injection press. Okay, and at least you need a lot of redstone. So you need to make sure that you have maybe a redstone farm, for example, in the background. For this you can use or laser base or a digital miner like you want. And if we want to start with a Woot, our first item will be the Stygian iron dust. Stygian iron dust, if we take a look, Stygian iron dust, we can see, if I don't use the cheat mode, we can see we can create with 1 iron ingot, 2 netherrack and at least 1 soul sand. And out of this we will get our Stygian iron dust. This Stygian iron dust we can use in a smelter. In my case it's an energized smelter from Mechanism, but you can also use all other types of smelters to get a Stygian iron ingot. And this Stygian iron ingot you will need to build up a Stygian anvil. This Stygian anvil needs 3 Stygian iron ingots, 1 anvil and at least 3 obsidian. And this Stygian anvil needs to be placed on top of a magma block. Okay. And out of this Stygian anvil you will get some plates, some dyes, and at least a mob controller. So you will get a shard dye, you will need a dye casing dye, and you will get a plate dye. You need to make sure that these different types of dye, I would say you need this 2 to 3 times, not more, in your inventory system, so you can make sure that you already have 1 dyes to craft your resources from Woot. Okay, and if we take a look how we can create one of these dyes, we can use a nether quartz and obsidian. And if we take a look at this Stygian anvil, we can see what we can do with this. We always have a base item and we have a secondary item. And in this case, it's nether quartz is the base item, so you need to place the base item as first. Then the secondary item, and at least you need the J hammer. And the J hammer, with a right click, you will get the shard dye. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is you can also create a mob controller. A mob controller is created with a mob shard, a prism, and at least 1 Stygian iron ingot. We will get a little bit later in this video to how you can get this mob shard programmed, because you need to program this mob shard, but you can also use this mob shard without programming to build a mob controller, but this mob controller is in this case useless because there's no programmation on it. Okay. The next part we need to take a look is at the dye liquefier. The dye liquefier will transform your flowers or your dye into new dye, I would say. So you can see that you have an internal storage from red, yellow, blue, white, and so on. And if we place, for example, some orange tulips in it, we can see that we generate out of this some yellow dye, some red dye, and so on. If we take a look at the side, we can see an exact table of what we will get out of this specific flower or the specific dye. And there are some flowers which will only give some red dye or some yellow dye and so on. Not that much flowers will give you all this stuff, but for example, the white tulip will give you 8 millibuckets red dye, 8 millibuckets yellow dye, and so on. And this white tulip you could use, for example, to automate this dye liquefier a little bit, but you need a lot of white tulips in this case. We will need more white tulips. Okay, and so you can see that we generate some dye. We want to use it. Let me take a moment. Yeah, you can see pure dye fluid. Very good. Okay, and but you can see that we have a lot of white dye in our liquefier. That means you can control your mode from the dye liquefier. That means we can take a look. We need to use a redstone, for example. So we need a strict mode actually to demonstrate it. And if I place in the white tulip, you can see nothing happens. Because the dye liquefier ends up here. It has the internal storage from white is full. And yeah, we can use our glowstone dust to switch the tank mode to dumping. That means that excess white dye will pump into nothing, and we can see that we are generating out of this some pure dye liquid. And we need to wait a little moment. Yeah, and there we have it. Okay, and we could see that we generate some pure dye fluid. That's very important in this case. So you can choose the way to build your own flowers, or you could use the white tulip, for example. That's what you want. Okay, next thing we need to take a look is at the enchant liquefier. We need to replace it like this, and we need to repair it because I don't like if things go bad. Okay, and we need power 2x enchantment. So you always need enchanted books for the enchant liquefier, and you can see if we place in our enchanted book, we generate out of this book some liquid enchant. Okay, and this liquid enchant depends on how strong is our enchantment. If we use power 5 enchantment, we will get out more than by power 2. Okay, and we can easily connect this enchant liquefier with the injection press, because the injection press will later use it to build up more wood things. Okay, and in this area we go to the injection press. The injection press has two or needs two different types of fluids, or you could use it in different with two different types of fluids. You can use the injection press for pure dye fluid, for example. That's one thing, and you could pump in some liquid enchant. With pure dye fluid, you can get out of some. If we take a look, some casings, you can get some plates. And these plates you will need later for these different types of blocks from your wood factory. And you can also build up a prism for a mob shard, for example. And if we take a look, we can build up one of this. So if we place it in with some energy, we can see that we already created a yellow dye plate. Next thing we want to take a look is at the neophyte plate, adapters plate, and at least a Magus plate. That means that we have to use iron ingot and a Stygian iron plate in the injection press filled with liquid enchant, and out of this we will get, for example, the neophyte plate. If we use it with gold, we will get the adapters plate, and at least with diamond we will get the Magus plate. And these different types of plates we need for the perks. Perks are some advantages for your wood factory. So you, for example, there's a perk where you don't use that much Conatus Fluid, for example, or you can also change the looting level, or you can increase the number of mob spawn, for example, with these different types of perks. And for this, you will need these plates. Okay. The next thing we need to take a look is how we can program a mob shard. For that, we need a mob shard, we need a zombie spawner, or a zombie spawn egg, and we need to set up on easy. We need to spawn a zombie, and we need our mob shard, and we can left click this zombie, and we can see that our mob shard is already programmed with zombie, for example. You can also do this with every kind of mob, and which you want in your wood factory. And we need to kill 4 zombies more to get our mob shard fully programmed. Oh, yeah. That's a little bit hard. Okay, I need to go back to peaceful because I have no armor on me. That's why it hurts a lot. Okay. Yeah, next thing I want you to show. We have our mob shard fully programmed. Okay, very good. We need a prism. We need a Stygian iron plate, and like this and this, and at least we need a J-hammer. And out of this we will get a mob controller with a zombie. There is a zombie. So if you ask you, you need to kill the Ender Drake 5 times to get a Ender Drake mob controller. That's clear. And you need to also kill 5 times an Wither to get an Wither mob controller. And now we come to the most important thing to keep your wood factory running. That means you need some Conatus Fluid. This Conatus Fluid you will get out of a combination of 2 fluid vats. And in the first fluid vat you put in some water, you need some energy, and you put in one of these 4 resources. For example, if we use it like this, we can see what happens. Okay, and we can see if we place it in like this. We can see that we are generating some porch fluid. Very good. Okay. And this porch fluid we need to send to our second fluid vat. And we can see that we already have some porch fluid in there. And we can transport we already created some Conatus Fluid for the last video. And if we take some redstone or some mob essence from the wood factories, we can create our Conatus Fluid. This Conatus Fluid you need to connect with your wood factory later to keep your wood factory running. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have a lot of redstone or a lot of essence, but trust me, you need redstone. That's very important. And if we take a look how we can create a wood factory. This is the T1 factory. Woot has, in conclusion, five tiers. So you can also upgrade these tiers from T1 to T2, T2 to T3, and so on. And for the Woot Factory T1, you will need to go to your book. You go to basics. You go to factory tiers, and you can see what you need to create a Woot Factory T1. You need a heart, a primary base, a Conatus cell, an importer, and an exporter, and at least a mob controller. And you also need 2 Enderman blocks. You need a 2 times factory connector and at least 1 perk slot. Okay, and yeah, that's how you can create a Woot Factory Tier 1. And I need to say that you also need an item called Intern. And this item we will get later in our walkthrough here. And we can also see here a Woot Factory Tier 5. It's a huge multi-block structure, and maybe you find a way to build it in your base very clean. And yeah, that's the Woot Factory T5. But I will show you how you can build up the Woot Factory Tier 5. For that, we need to take a look at our Woot guide. Go to Magister 5, and you need this. You need the first blocks, for example. You need also these blocks, hard, primary base, and so on. And you also need 10 Emerald blocks, 17 Amber blocks, 24 Accelerant blocks, and so on. And you also need some perk slots. And so on. Okay, there that is. Okay, very good. And I already created this different types of blocks, and we will use these blocks like this, and we will get this. Okay, and we need some helping blocks. Okay, in this case I use the soul sand. Okay, we go 8 in the high, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on the top of the 8 block we will place a heart like this. Okay, and what we need now is our important item, the intern. With the intern we will create our Woot Factory. You can configure the intern by shift and right clicking into the air, and now you can choose which factory you want to build. And in this case we want to start with the factory tier 1, and we need to remove our soul sand, and we can go on to our heart and right click the heart, and now we can get a message. Our heart is expecting a cell, and it will tell us that there is no primary controller. That means we need to use a cell. The cell is always on the bottom side under the loot exporter, and we have also use a mob controller. For the first tier 1 factory we use a zombie mob controller, and we can see that our multi-block structure is configured and we can interact with this interface. Very good. And yeah, this is your first factory, and to upgrade your factory you will need definitely some perks, and you will definitely need the perk Scale the Summit, because this out of this perk you will get some essence, and this essence you could use, for example, for Conatus Fluid, or you can use it to upgrade your factory. That means if we take a look, we can see we can see that if you need for the Byzantium block, for example, you will need some Byzantium essence. So you need to make sure that you will have this essence in your inventory system. Okay, and we want to install this upgrade. And that means we go to our perk slot and right click with the first upgrade, the second tier, and at least the Scale the Summit free perk. So we have installed the Scale the Summit free perk, for example. For the first things, it is enough to use only the first upgrade. That's enough. Okay, what we need next is we need some Conatus Fluid. This Conatus Fluid I will use out of a creative tank because I don't have production in the background. And to connect these two internal tanks, and we can see that we already filled in some Conatus Fluid. Very good. The next thing we need to know is that we get out our loot. We have a looting table in there. We can see we have installed a zombie controller. We have a looting table here. And we need to get out our chests like this. We have a loot exporter. And we can see that our chest will get out of this looting table something, and we through the installed perk we will also get some essence over the time. Okay, next thing we want to take a look is to upgrade our Woot factory from tier 1 to tier 5. That means we need also our intern. We need to go to factory tier 5. And we need to go to the heart, and we need to right click if we have all of our blocks in our inventory, and with a right click it will automatically set this Woot factory, and we can see that our Woot factory will create it soon, and the last blocks like this, and you can see we have a Woot factory tier 5. Very good. And what we can do now is we can use, for example, a new perk. But with this we don't want to start. We want to start with new mob controllers. Because of the Woot factory tier 5, we are able to install more than one mob controller, and also we can use more than one perk. That means we go to this side, to the second, on top of the secondary base, we can install the second mob controller, and we can see what has changed. Actually nothing, but now we can see we have installed a Wither Skeleton mob controller. That means we have increased our looting pool. Very good. So, and if we take a look at our chest, we can see we have created some rotten flesh, we have created some essence, and so on. So it's fine, very good. And what we need now is, if you take a look at the spawn time, that means every 320 ticks we will actually generate one zombie and one wither skeleton. That's not much. And but if we take a look, what happens if we install the Wither mob controller? We can take a look. What happens? We can see, if we wait a moment, we can see that the spawn time is decreased to 1200 ticks. That means you should use low-level mob controllers with high-level mob controllers here. So you better create a new tier 5 factory for the Wither, for example. Okay, and what happens also, your Conatus Fluid is increased to 3400 millibuckets. Okay, and we want to use a new perk, for example, and in this case we have a lot of perks. If we take a look on this overview, we can see that on the left side we have very important perks, on the right side we have, I would say, supportive perks. That means you can use it with other mods, for example, to generate some pink slime and liquid meat, or generate industrial foregoing essence, or generate some ether gas, or something else. On the left side, it's very useful. You don't need that much Conatus Fluid. You can change the looting level. You can increase the mob spawning. You can reduce the spawn time, generate some essence, generate some experience. For example, you can that's a Woot factory tier 5 where I installed this perk with experience. So you can right click these shards and get some experience for yourself. I think that's very cool. And okay, that's not what I want. Okay, And we need to install the new perk. So we go to the perk slot right there, and on each side we have a perk slot. 4 is the maximum. And yeah, and actually we have successfully installed our perk. Rampage 3 is installed, and we can see that we have increased the mob spawn by zombies to 6 mobs, wither skeletons to 6 mobs, and by wither to 4 mobs. Okay, very good. And the last thing I would tell you is we need, for example, for the wither, we need some ingredients. So we need to go to the ingredient importer like this. Okay. And we need some skulls, we need some soul sand, and like not like this. We separate this, and we take a look, and we are actually by 80%. And if we go to 100%, we can see that we will have generated a nether star, I would say. And 0%, okay, and we don't have a nether star. That's because we need too much Conatus Fluid in this case. So we need to upgrade this Conatus Fluid. We need to use a higher tier, the ultimate Conatus cell, for example, so that we have more Conatus. Okay, and now I think we should get a nether star. And I don't want to wait that much time. So we start with the last topic. The last topic is the Enochian key. These keys you will get out of End City treasures. So, but the spawn rate is very low. But these mobs are very strong. So if you get this key, your fixed spawn time is 20 ticks. That's very strong. If you have a wither skeleton farm or a wither farm with 1200 ticks, 20 ticks is a lot. That's very strong, I would say. And we will need to wait the last 10 seconds. And normally we should get a nether star in our chest. And there we have not one nether star, we got 4 nether stars, because we spawn through the update. We spawn 4 wither, so all fine, very good. And we can increase the spawn time with this key, for example. That's very strong. That's too much. You can see it's running and running. And if we take a look, we can see we generate a lot of nether stars, and you can also do this with the Ender Dragon. I already created a video for the Ender Dragon farm. So if you want to take a look, just click into the video description. That's all to the walkthrough from Woot since Minecraft 1.16.5. Thanks for watching. I would say thumbs up, and I will tell you something about my UTech 2 project, how I build up some wood factories, and we see us in a few seconds. And welcome back again, and at least I will give you a short summarize about my UTech 2 project. And in UTech 2 I created a lot of wood factories, and I will give you some important notes at least. And we will start with our Conatus Fluid production. And we can see that we have a lot of fluid reds here, and these fluid reds are fully automated, because we will pump in some bones to our fluid red and water. We have a water, this water comes from our water internal storage system, and yeah, we will push this bones into the fluid red, and we will get out some push fluid. And yeah, we have a mixture of some redstone combinations and essence combinations. That means we have a lot of redstone combinations. We can see it like this. So we have a lot of redstone here, where we can create easily out of push fluid some Conatus. Okay, and Also, to boost our Conatus Fluid production, we use some essences. Because if we take a look how we can create some Conatus Fluid, we can see that the cerulean essence will give us more Conatus Fluid than a whetstone. Whetstone only gives us 1000 millibuckets, and if we push in some cerulean essence, we will get out 2500 millibuckets. Okay, that's very good. And if we go to our factories, I have created 75 factories in DuTech 2, and but actually only 6 are running. And we will start with the first factory. The first factory is always our factory which needs to be run all the time. That means this factory will gives us our vessels. In this case, it will give us some bones, and this means we have a wither skeleton farm with 4 mob controllers of wither skeletons. We have installed a lot of perks, looting level increasing a number of mobs, generate some essence, and speeds up the spawn time. Okay, very good. The next factory we have is an Enderman combination with Ghast, so that we get a lot of ender pearls and Ghast tears. Okay, and the next factory we have a sheep factory, and the next factory is a wither factory, where we need to be careful with our ingredients because we need soul sand for that, and also we need some wither skeleton skulls. And these wither skeleton skulls we will get out of the first factory. And yeah, we have also a wither factory with which is producing some ether gas. That means if we place a fluid tank next to our loot exporter, we will get some ether gas with the freaking laser beams 1 perk. And we have also a place Woot factory, and at least we have our Ender Dragon factory. And yeah, that's how you can build some factories in Woot. I hope I could tell you a lot about factories in Woot, and you can now easily create your own factories. Thumbs up and bye.